Follow the unforgettable story of King's Hay, a child with divine protection guided to rule the kingdom in peace and prosperity. Years passed, and the child grew strong and brave, always guided by the white doves that had become his constant companions. His name was whispered in the marketplace and shouted from the rooftop, Etuk, the one with a destiny as bright as the sun. The villagers saw the potential in him, the unshakable air of a king. He walked with a confidence that believed his youth, and his eyes jeweled the wisdom of generations. As they took approach his 16th birthday, the whispers grew louder, and the king's men gathered to discuss the future of Obubra. The king, now old and frail, knew that his time was drawing near. He called for his daughter Leku and her son, the one born under the watchful eyes of the doves. The council chamber was filled with tension, and the king announced that he would name Etuk as his heir. Despite the crumblings of Madame Enor's son and her supporters, the villagers watched the young man with hope in their hearts, for the white doves had never left his side. They had grown to trust the whispers of destiny that surrounded him. As the years went by, Etuk had shown an uncanny ability to resolve disputes and bring unity to the community. His bravery and wisdom were legendary, and the doves had guided him to make decisions that brought peace and prosperity to the land. When the time came for the king to announce his heir, the anticipation was palpable. The king's men, who had once been divided by the cunning of Madame Enos, now stood united behind the child of the prophecy. The council chambers were packed as the old king called forth Leku and her son. His voice trembled with age and emotion as he declared, Etuk, the son of my daughter, shall be the next king of Obubra. The gods have chosen him, and the white dove has always bore witness with his destiny. The crowd erupted into cheers, drawing out the few dissenting voices that still clung to the hope of a different outcome. Madame Enor's son, his eyes dark with anger and defeat, stepped back into the shadows, knowing that he could not stand against the will of the people and the power of the divine. Etuk, Nang Yong Khan, a man with broad shoulders and a firm jaw, stood before the villagers, the white doves fronting around him like a halo, and he had grown into the role as the village peacemaker, and his heart was filled with the wisdom and compassion that had been passed down through generations of kings before him. The doves had been his guide since birth, whispering secrets of leadership and strategy into his ears, ensuring that he was prepared for the day when he would take his place on the throne. The king's men had watched his developments with keen interest, noticing the way he handled even the most complex of situations with a grace that believed his years. His ability to bring unity to the village was nothing short of remarkable, despite that once escalated to blows, now ended in handshakes and laughter under his calm guidance. The prophecy had not only been fulfilled, but had also manifested in the way that people saw him as a beacon of peace and hope. As the years passed, the whispers grew louder, and the white doves grew more numerous, their feathers trembling in the sun as they followed him everywhere he went. Etuk had become a symbol of unity, his very presence bringing peace to people who sought it. The villagers spoke of his wisdom and his kindness, and his name was altered with reference. The king's men, who had once been skeptical of the prophecy, watched in amazement as the boy grew into a young man who embodied all the qualities of a great leader. His strength was not just physical, it was his strength of spirit that shone through every act of kindness and every word of wisdom that he offered to those in need. The council members, who had once feared Madame Enos's influence, now nodded in approval as they saw the potential in Etuk to lead Obubra into a new era of prosperity. As Etuk coordinated the affairs of the village, the white doves never left his side. They served as a constant reminder of the divine protection that surrounded him, a symbol of peace. They resonated with every decision he made. The villagers grew to love him, for his rule was marked by families and understanding and fairness, and the once divided community grew stronger every day. The doves whispered into his ear, guiding him through the complexities of governance, and it was said that their wisdom flowed through his veins. The day of Etuk's coronation dawned before and bright and clear, the air filled with the scent of frankincense and the sound of the villagers' jubilation. The white doves formed a majestic canopy over the ceremonial hut as he emerged near a king. To the cheers of his people, the king's men, once weary of the prophecy, now nodded in solemn respect as they pledged their fealty to the young monarch. Madame Enos's son, unable to bear the sight of his mother's failure, had disappeared into the night. His jealousy and anger leaving him a hollow shell of a man. Under Etuk's wise rule, Obubra flourished, the fields yielded bountiful harvest. The rivers ran clear, and the marketplaces bursted with the battle of goods. His reign was one of peace and unity. The white doves, ever present, guided him through the challenges of leadership, and their gentle, coarse, and reassuring presence. The villagers spoke in hushed tones of the prophecy that had been fulfilled, and the child born to bring peace to the lands. But peace in a very delicate things, often shattered by the whispers of greed and ambitions. Madame Enos had not disappeared entirely. She had retreated into the shadows, biding her time. Her resentment had not won, and she watched from afar as the prophecy unfolded before her very eyes. Her eyes gleamed with a malicious intent, as she whispered to those who would listen about the true line of succession, planting seeds of doubt and discord. As Etuk's reign grew stronger, so too did the whispers of his illegitimacy. Madame Enos had found a new ally in a distant land, a powerful sorcerer who promised to help her claim what she believed was rightfully hers. The sorcerer spoke of a talisman, an ancient artifact that could manipulate the very fabric of fate. It was said that whoever that wielded it would change the course of destiny. Marked with envy, she set his sights on obtaining his powerful object, believing it was grant her the power to overthrow the young king and place her son on the throne. The villagers remained blissful, unaware of the looming threat. Their lives and enriched by the peace that Etuk had brought them. Yet the white doves grew restless, sensing the impending danger. Their numbers swelled, their eyes seemingly more vigilant than ever. Legona, a wise queen mother, felt a growing unease. Her dreams plagued by visions that the sorcerer's dark magic would soon plague. One night, as Etuk sat upon the throne, contemplating the prosperity of his people, the doves descended upon the palace in a flurry of feathers. They perched on the throne beside him, their eyes gleaming with a fierce determination. The council members who had gathered to discuss matters of state watched in awe as the doves communicated with their kings in a language only he could understand. It was clear that the time had come for the truth to be revealed, for the prophecy to be tested, and for the people of Obubra to face the consequences of their ancestors' actions. The council called for a meeting with the villagers, and Etuk stood before them, the white dove cycling protecting around him. He recounted the story of Madame Enos's envy and the covenant she had made with the sorcerer. The villagers, once divided by whispers and doubt, now saw the web of deceit that had been spun around them. The moral of this tale was clear: greed and envy could lead even the nobles of heart astray, but truth and unity was always preferred. The people of Obubra vowed to stand behind their chosen king, the one who had brought peace and prosperity. They pledged to protect him and his mother from the venom of maddening or rats, and together they faced the challenges that lay ahead. The white doves, the guardian of their future, remained steadfast. Their presence a symbol of hope and a reminder of the divine will. Madameno, unable to bear the thought of her son's failure and driven by insatiable envy, approached the sorcerer in secret. And talisman was a small, unassuring stone, but in the hands of one consumed by darkness, it promised to unleash a power that could shake the very foundation of the kingdom. Yet, as she clutched it tightly, whispering incantations, she felt a strange wrath slip through her, and the doors that had once been heralds of peace now transformed into the very beast of protection. Their eyes is burning with the fury of the coast. The villagers watched as Madameno's house was engulfed by an unnatural fire, the flames licking at the sky into a twisted dance of vengeance. The white doves cycled above, their cries piercing the night as they descended upon her, a very embodiment of the truth she had sought to obscure. The sorcerer's magic had backfired, the talisman recognizing the purity of Etuk's lineage and turning against its corrupt welder. Madameno's screams echoed through the night, a chilling reminder of the price of greed and deceit. In the aftermath of the fairy spectacle, the people of Obubra gathered, their hearts heavy with lessons learned. They realized that the true measure of a leader was not in bodiness or wrath, but in the kindness and wisdom they brought to their people. Etuk's reign continued stronger than ever, as the doves remain his constant companions, a symbol of the divine protection that surrounded him. The villagers knew that it was not just the physical battles that make a king, but the battles of the heart and the mind that truly tested his mental. The moral of the story echoed through the generations, a warning against the destructive nature of envy and greed. Madameno's tragic fall for grace becomes a cautionary tale, a stark reminder of the consequences of seeking power at the expense of others. The white doves that had once been a symbol of peace now serve as a vigilant guard, ensuring that the legacy of the prophecy remain untainted by the shadows of the past. Under Etuk's rule, Obubra continued to prosper. The village grew into a thriving city, its people united under the banner of peace. The doves remain a constant presence, not only in the royal court but throughout the land, a living emblem of the divine will that had guided the young king to the throne. The prophecy had not just been a tale of fate, but a catalyst for change, a beacon for hope that had sorted and supported the community throughout history. Thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned on our next video.
If you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel. Also remember to like, comment, and share our content with your friends and on your timelines. Feel free to share your thoughts about the story in the comments section as well. Thank you.